I used to feel stuck and just lost in life. But as we tell our story of the pains that we've gone through, usually being able to share what we've expressed helps with the healing process. And I've shared my story that many times. I do mentoring for different people, and I help them also to become unstuck in life. I mean, everyone is going through something different. So of course, your journey is unique to you. But being able to get yourself out of a dark place. So I want to share my story with you. Okay, I was born in New Zealand, and when I was 18, my parents decided to move over and live in Australia. My mother was a Māori and my father was an Australian. So when I was 18, I was in New Zealand by myself for another year, doing all the things that I did in New Zealand, which was a lot of drinking back then. That was part of my life. That's what I thought life was meant to be like, partying all the time. I didn't know any other way. And then coming over to Australia, I followed Mum and Dad over about a year later, and I made friends here in Brisbane and started up the whole party thing again. So that was my little world of, I don't know, I suppose it was part rebellion and part really not understanding that there was more to life. For me, that's what it was. But then meeting my husband and falling in love and getting pregnant with our first child, and then a few years later with our second child. And mind you, I was still doing the drinking, doing the binging. But then I started to get very sad, thinking, come on, there's got to be more. There's got to be more to life than this. And when my children were very little, very small, they were still in nappies. And they'd see me sitting in the corner of the room just crying for hours on end, and I couldn't explain what it was. I just felt so lost and just completely stuck. Even at work had to let me go because I started crying at work. I started breaking down there, and I just couldn't understand what was happening. My life was sad. I was in the darkest place that I had ever been in, and my husband tried to help me so many times, but he just couldn't. He couldn't. I ended up getting help. I had to go to counselling, but even that didn't do anything for me. And I know counsellors do help a lot of people, but this is my journey. This is my story. And we all get stuck and lost in so many different kinds of ways. So for many, many years, I was in this very dark place of sadness. I was put on antidepressants. I was labelled with having acute endoscopic depression. Okay, so I had a label whacked on me way back then as well. And when you get labels put on you, you start to believe them. So I felt even heavier and worse, and just I got to the point where even though I had the kids and my husband, and we had our home, and everything externally of me could have seemed really good if only I had known how to look at things from a different point of view. But inside me, I was tearing myself apart, and I got to the point where I really didn't want to be here anymore. But that's when something happened. That's when something stepped in and began the change of my entire life. And I'm so glad that I took the opportunity that was presented to me way back then at my lowest point. So keep an eye out for those helping hands, all right? They are here to help you, and I will share that with you in my next video. So until then, take care of you, stay safe, and remember, it's all good.